So Jesus has responded to Jairus' request to go and heal his little daughter who's on the point of death. And this then happens. And a great crowd followed him and thronged about him. And there was a woman who had had a discharge of blood for 12 years, and who had suffered much under many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. She had heard the reports about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment, for she said, "If I touch even his garments, I will be made well." And immediately the flow of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Here's a woman, here's her plight. She has a bleed that's been lasting for 12 years. Now, in Israel 2,000 years ago, this was a desperate situation for her. To have an issue of blood meant that she was unclean. It meant that she could have no social contact. It meant that she couldn't go home to her family. It meant that she couldn't be involved in the worship of Israel at the temple. And this had gone on for 12 years. And then her plight is made worse. We're told that all her finances went into seeking a cure. She had spent all that she had. She consulted many physicians. Did she get better? No, says Mark. Rather, she grew worse. 12 years. And suddenly she hears of a great physician. Miracles are happening. And she hears where he is, and she makes her way towards him. But there's a great crowd around him. But here's her faith. If only I touch the hem of his garment, just the outskirts of who he is, I'll be healed. And she creeps up behind him. She touches the hem of his garment, and immediately the issue of blood stops, and she is healed. Well, there's more to the story, but we need to pause there. There's too much to fit in this morning. What is faith? Faith is reaching out to Jesus. And we should do that first. This woman has been 12 years. Of course, she hasn't had the advantage of hearing of him. We have the advantage. We know him. Where do we turn in times of trouble and difficulty? Is Jesus our first port of call? He must be. He is the Son of God with power. He is filled with compassion. We need to go to him and just to touch him. Now, in our quiet times, our prayer times, not just a matter of doing our bit, reading and saying our prayers. Let us encounter him. Beyond the sacred page, I seek thee, Lord, reaching out and touching Jesus. And the woman immediately knew healing. Well, we'll conclude the story of the woman tomorrow and then go on to Jairus, who's hopping from one foot to the other at the moment. Come on, my little daughter's on the point of death. And let's see what happens with Jairus. But for us, let's reach out and touch Jesus.